My name is Kelly. I'm a working mother who's been married for 20 years. I have 2 children with my husband, a boy and a girl. Both are in college now, so it feels like my role as a parent is almost done. Looking back, I can't tell if it's been a long journey or a short one. It all seems to have passed in the blink of an eye. We've never really gone on what you'd call a proper vacation, and we've always had to sacrifice our desires, but that's about to change. Once the kids start their careers, my husband and I want to travel. That's been my hope. But that dream was shattered one evening on my way home from work. I saw a middle-aged couple walking arm in arm, looking so happy together. To my shock, it was Sam, my husband. I couldn't believe my eyes and had to look again and again. Why? He said he was on a business trip today. No, this must be someone who looks just like him. Trying to convince myself, I watched closely, but it was undoubtedly Sam. After 20 years together, I couldn't mistake him for someone else. So, who was that woman with him? I'm his wife, standing right here. So, I instinctively took out my smartphone and took a photo. I couldn't sleep that night. My mind was filled with terrible thoughts, and every time I closed my eyes, I could see Sam happily walking with that woman. The word affair came to mind, but I kept denying such a thing could happen. I went to work the next day without having slept a wink, and I couldn't concentrate at all, making one silly mistake after another. That night, Sam came back from his business trip. Carrying souvenirs as usual, looking too happy and refreshed for someone who's supposed to be tired. A wave of anger rose in me. All night, I had been tormented by suspicions about my husband, and there he was, humming happily as if he had a great morning. Man, I'm beat. The client just wouldn't get it. Oh, is that so? Is the client a pretty young woman, by any chance? What? No way. Look, I brought back some souvenirs. Let's eat them together. Where did you get these souvenirs from? What's with you all of a sudden? You didn't go on a business trip, did you? What are you talking about? He stopped mid-sentence when he saw the smile on his face freeze. Hey! That's right, it was you. Then, who's the woman next to you? The reason he stopped. That was the photo on my smartphone. A photo of Sam walking arm in arm with another woman. Why did you have this? I'm not that free. I just happened to see someone who looked a lot like you on my way back from work. But when I looked closely, it was you, walking happily arm in arm with a woman. Is that so? Didn't you think that walking around there, you might bump into someone you know? If you're going to cheat, at least be smarter about it. No, it's not cheating. Then what is it? No complete stranger acts like that. It's a serious relationship. What? Not cheating but a mistress? Yes, I'm serious. I was at a loss for words. I never expected him to be so brazen, to admit it was serious. I thought I would hear an apology, something like, I'm sorry, it was just a moment of weakness. I'll break it off, please forgive me. But instead, he said, serious? Well, I figured you'd find out eventually. What? This smile, this defiance? I'm tired of walking with someone like you, slightly balding and all wrinkled up. It's only natural I'd look at other women, right? What? That's why I want a divorce, right now. Wait a minute. Why does the one who's cheating act so high and mighty? A divorce, just like that? Of course, it's only natural. I have another woman. I get why you'd want to cling to me, but I'm just fed up. Fed up with what? Look at yourself in the mirror. That ugly, flabby belly. Hair all gray and unkempt. Just tying it back isn't enough. And your face, not a touch of makeup, just freckles and wrinkles everywhere. You look like a real-life witch. That's harsh. How can I even see you as a woman? Always wearing the same clothes. Not even changing when we go out. You've given up on being a woman, so you're not attractive to me at all. That's not fair. I've been too busy living, I have no time for myself. That's just an excuse. Look at other wives. They go to the salon, wear makeup every day. They make an effort to stay beautiful. But you're just busy, making everyone uncomfortable without even realizing it. I don't want to be married to someone like that. You used to be so beautiful before we got married. This feels like fraud. Oh, and you're one to talk. That belly sticking out, face all wrinkled. You have as many spots as I do. On your days off, you just laze around, do nothing. After a bath, you wander around in just your underwear. I have plenty I could say too. But we're both getting older, what's the point in saying it? Yeah, well, I stayed silent and loved another woman because I knew you wouldn't change. But I've reached my limit. Being with an old hag like you is just disgusting. Disgusting, you say? It's all your fault I'm looking at other women, that I've fallen for someone else. Don't think you're the victim here. I never said that. With that, the husband pulled out divorce papers from his bag. Already signed with his name. We've been together this long, you can't complain. 10 years later. I was standing in front of a shop, looking at wedding dresses. A pure white dress is always a woman's dream, no matter her age. I smiled softly to myself, checking the time on my watch, wondering if it was about time for my appointment. That's when I heard someone call my name. I turned around, and there was my ex-husband. Sam, looking happy to see me. But he was skinny, his hair a mess of white, his face deeply wrinkled. And his clothes are shabby, exuding poverty. Kelly, is that you? You've changed so much, I barely recognized you. You've become so beautiful. Really? Thank you. True to Sam's words, I had undergone a significant transformation. After Sam left me with such cruel words, I cried for days. When my tears finally dried, I vowed to take revenge by making myself over so that, if we ever meet again, he'd realize what he lost. I took on all challenges and managed to slim down my previously plump body significantly. I did everything considered beneficial, even cosmetic surgery. As a result, my wrinkles disappeared, and so did my spots. I never skip makeup, and after removing it, I spend an hour applying serum from face to body. Thus transformed, I became more mindful of my attire. Thanks to that, I look younger than my peers, and even women admire me with envy. Yeah, you really have become beautiful. Why such a change? You said terrible things to me, which spurred me on. Back then, I was desperate just to live, trying not to burden you alone, working part-time, doing all the housework, living like a maid. But after you left, I started using my time for myself. Thanks to that, I've been reborn. I was even mistaken for a model while walking down the street. I'm truly glad we divorced. So, it's thanks to me, huh? Even wearing nail polish, like you're young again. Yes. No matter the age, a woman can always be beautiful. But what happened to you? You used to be chubby, and now you're skinny. If it were for looking good, I'd understand, but you just look miserable. Like you're advertising your poverty. Yeah, it's been tough, that's true. Why are you looking so shabby? It's because life's been tough. Wow, after working for so long, shouldn't you be living comfortably by now? That was the plan. But I've been thinking, I want to start over with you. Huh? I don't get why you'd suddenly say that. That's definitely not happening. Going back to you would just take me back 10 years. No thanks, even as a joke. Don't say that! Weren't you married? To a young and beautiful woman, you should be happy, right? Yeah, I got married! But I realized it was a mistake pretty quickly. Oh really? How so? I was deceived. Deceived? By what? By her. She turned out to be a monster. I don't follow. A monster, you say? Like a ghost or something? Well, maybe calling her a ghost would have been better. Despite looking so pretty, as soon as we got married, she stopped wearing makeup. So what? If she's cute, she's still pretty without makeup, right? Not at all. She was just piling on makeup to hide her real face. Her skin was rough, covered in spots, and she had even more wrinkles than you. When I asked her how she ended up like that, she said it was from repeated cosmetic surgeries when she was younger. But now that we're married, she said it doesn't matter anymore. She's like a monster. You saw her without makeup when you stayed over, didn't you? No, we never bathed together when we stayed over, and she always said no to intimacy until we were married. I thought she was just old-fashioned, but it turns out she just didn't want to undress. What do you mean? She was squeezing herself into corsets or something to look thinner than she was. That's a lot of effort. That's why I never knew her true form until we got married. So, she showed you everything because you're married? That's a sign of trust. Wonderful. That's no joke. She's not just plump, she's a blob of fat. Now, she just lounges in front of the TV all day, eating snacks. Her already plump body is getting even bigger. She's like a sumo wrestler now. That's a terrible way to talk about someone. I don't even know why I work anymore. It feels like I'm just buying feed for a pig. All my earnings go to her snack expenses. And yet, she's so picky about clothes and bags, never satisfied with cheap stuff. Here I am in these worn-out clothes, and she's buying new clothes every month, only to wear them a couple of times and then throw them away. Why waste like that? Because they don't fit after a short while. She should buy bigger sizes from the start, but she insists on buying clothes that fit her current size, so they quickly become too small. She's gaining weight at an alarming rate then. If that's true, you might get a TV crew knocking on your door soon. It's not even funny. She's so fat, I've suggested she do some housework or laundry to get moving, but she doesn't do any of that. The house is a mess because of her. She only cooks ready meals, just microwaves them and serves. That's why I'm so skinny at this age. I see. At least you managed to lose weight, although it sounds quite unhealthy. But it's the life you chose. As for me, it's karma, I guess. Don't say that, I can't stand this life anymore. That's why I want a divorce. Well, just get a divorce then. You're good at initiating them, right? The problem is, she won't agree to it. She says if I leave, there won't be anyone to work and earn money. She's quite thorough, isn't she? But it seems like you have no choice but to give up. No! I can't stand being with that woman any longer. That's not my problem anymore. We're divorced and strangers now. Are you still living in that house? Yes, I kept it after the divorce. Thought about selling it, but the kids were still in college, and staying there was cheaper than renting an apartment. Did the kids graduate from college? It's been 10 years. They've graduated and got jobs. The older one's even married with kids now. They're happy then. Yes, the grandkids are adorable. We're all much happier since the divorce. Seems like everyone's doing better without you around. Sounds like you're better off without me. That's right. Sam seemed annoyed but quickly resumed his usual demeanor, realizing that angering me would be disadvantageous to him. Did you remarry? No, I haven't. Then let's get remarried. There's no way. I wouldn't think of remarrying you, and if we did, you'd be committing bigamy. If it meant getting back together with you, she would probably give up. I'm not interested in someone else's man. Just as he grabbed my arm, a sharp female voice cut through the air, making Sam release his grip. Hey! What are you doing? The approaching woman was as large as a wrestler, her hair filled with gray, her face covered in spots, indeed ugly. And her makeup-free face looked like that of an old woman. What? This woman? Your affair? Help me! What do you mean, help me? Sam clung to my arm out of desperation, but we were no longer in that kind of relationship, and I certainly didn't want to be glared at by this woman. So, I forcefully removed Sam's arm and pushed him towards his mistress, saying, I'm not involved. Hey, you! What's this help me about? No, it's not like that. It just came out at that moment. You weren't trying to run away from me, were you? Of course not, I wouldn't do that. Good, because I would never allow you to run away from me. Of course. Sam agreed, pathetically trying to appease her, a far cry from his once assertive self. His wife then turned her attention to me. And who are you? Don't tell me you're trying to steal my husband? You've got to be joking. I'm his ex-wife. We just ran into each other and we're catching up. Just so you know, I took this man from you 10 years ago, so don't even think about taking him back. He's mine now. Don't worry, I have zero interest. What exactly about him is supposed to be appealing now? He has no allure as a man whatsoever. Well, yes. As long as he lives for me, he doesn't need to be charming. Exactly. I have no interest in your husband. Good. Just remember, he's my ATM, and I won't let anyone take him from me. ATM? That's what you married him for? Of course. I worked hard to get my own ATM. Well, good for you. But don't worry, I have no desire for an ATM. I can earn my own money. Just so you know, I'm not giving him up. All right. Let's go. I still have a lot of shopping to do. What are you buying now? Clothes, shoes, and bags. I'm planning to spend about $6,000 today alone. She glanced at me with a triumphant smile, clearly proud of securing a proficient ATM. In contrast, Sam looked utterly defeated, his eyes begging for help. But I had no intention of aiding him. He chose his path, so he can suffer through it. Come on, let's go. With that, the woman stomped away, dragging Sam behind her, the ground shaking with each step. About half a month later, I was enjoying a holiday with my son, daughter, daughter-in-law, and grandchildren. A few times a month, my son and his wife, who lived nearby, would bring over the grandchildren. My daughter would stay home on these occasions, wanting to see her niece and nephew, making it a fun holiday for us. It's amazing how quickly they grow when you're not looking. Why don't you get married soon? If I got married, you'd be lonely, wouldn't you? While we were having such light-hearted conversations, the doorbell rang, and there stood Sam. Oh, coming all the way to the house, what brings you here? Are you going out somewhere? Why do you ask? Well, you're all dressed up and even have makeup on. Oh, this? It's just normal for me. Even when I'm at home, I can't afford to let myself go if I want to stay beautiful. Is that so? You really are beautiful. Did you come just to say that? No, not really. I need your help. I don't have any money for you. It's not about money. I need you to save me. What's the matter? If I stay with that woman, she's going to kill me. Oh my, that doesn't sound peaceful at all. I'm not joking. I'm already 60, at retirement age, and she's insisting I stay on as a consultant. Consulting isn't so bad. Everyone does it. That would be fine, but once I got my consulting paycheck, she started complaining about how little it was and even stormed into the company to complain. Because of that, it's become uncomfortable at work, and at home, she says we can't live on that salary and tells me to find a part-time job. I'm 60. If I keep working like this, I'll collapse. But there are people your age who still work. Maybe, but it's ridiculous that she doesn't work at all, and only I have to. I can't do much about that. We're divorced, remember? I'm constantly being told to work, and it's making me sick to my stomach. But you always loved working, didn't you? You'd leave all the housework to me and even go to work on weekends. Seems like you also went to see your mistress. I'm sorry for that. Even when I was sick, you'd just say it was work and wouldn't take care of me or even make meals for the kids. I didn't have the luxury to do so. It's okay, it's in the past. But being told to work must be what you wanted, right? How can I keep working at my age? Really? Look, I know I was wrong. So please, forgive me. I don't want to work at this age. Are you saying you want to come back to me, to live an easy life without working? No, not exactly. But you have your kids, and they're working, right? You're living comfortably now. Oh, I work too. I have to earn my keep. Is that so? Yes, you taught me well. There's no such thing as a housewife profession. If you don't work, you don't eat. You used to say, I'm supporting you, quite often. I'm sorry. You looked down on me for just doing housework, even though you couldn't do it yourself. And when I wanted to work, you said no because you wanted to keep your superior position, right? But in the end, you forgave me. That's because you realized we couldn't afford the kids' tuition on your salary alone. Okay, this time I'll do the housework. I'll take care of everything at home for you. Does that mean you won't work? Don't joke with me. Actually, I'm sick. But she calls it laziness. Oh, just like you did when I was in pain with menstrual cramps. You called me lazy. It's the same situation, so you have no right to complain. But I was forced to work, in pain all over. That's something you should discuss with your wife, not me. You left me for her, after all. It's inappropriate to complain to me. As we were talking, my daughter came out and, seeing her disheveled father, asked in a displeased tone, Mom, who is this dirty man? Dirty? I'm your father. Oh yeah, I remember him. The man who, despite his age, fell for a younger woman and left his family. Hey brother, some weird guy is here. When my daughter called for her older brother, he came but frowned immediately upon seeing Sam's face. What, it's just Dad. Aw, man, recognizing me as his father. It's just because there's no other name for you. The truth is, my dad left with another woman. I wouldn't want to call someone like you Dad if I could help it. Thanks to you, I've sworn never to betray my wife. That's the only thing I'm thankful for. What? My brother is thankful? I don't have a single thing to thank you for. You made Mom cry and put her through so much. You all! It's because I worked that you could go to college. Without me, you wouldn't have been able to live. That's what you were supposed to do, wasn't it? You decided to marry and support a family. Don't act so high and mighty for doing what's expected. We're much more peaceful without you. Having Mom is enough for us. How can you say that to a parent? We don't think of you as a parent. You're the only one who thinks so. No one acknowledges you. And to think, betraying Mom and ending up like this, it's laughable. True. Betraying others only ends up hurting yourself in the end. But you don't have a place here anymore. What? Then, my son's wife came out with my grandchild, holding my smartphone. Kelly, you have a call. Oh? Thank you. Who's it from? It's the doctor from the beauty clinic. What? Was today a date? That's right. I had an appointment to look at wedding venues. Mom, you're always so laid back about important appointments. Beauty clinic? Wedding venue? Is Sarah getting married? If it were my wedding, I'd go see it myself. This is for Mom's wedding. Kelly is getting remarried? But you said you wouldn't. That was just until now. In 6 months, I'll be marrying him. Who is he? That's none of your business. It's okay. He's the director of the beauty clinic I've been going to. Not him, marry me instead. You think I'd marry a poor man like you? You really want to marry me? No. I hadn't considered remarriage, but after seeing you the other day and hearing you wanted to get back together, I decided to get married. Thank you. What do you mean? Meaning? Seeing how poor you were made me want to reach for even greater happiness. I thought it would upset you. That's ridiculous. I'll be marrying a wealthy doctor and will be happy, so you enjoy your life with your partner. That's absurd. Marrying me would have made you happier. Shut up. Being married to you was miserable. Don't say things like you want an easy life with Mom. Your marriage to Mom would never happen, no matter what. Could you please leave? I'm your parent. If you don't leave, shall I call the police? My daughter flashed her smartphone with the police number ready to dial. What? Do you want to be reported as a harasser or a stalker? I'm fine either way. If the police come, your wife will have to pick you up. Imagine the trouble then, being crushed by her. Stop, please! Sam left, his face pale. He never returned after that. Probably terrified of being taken away by the police and his wife having to bail him out. But about half a year later, I saw Sam again at the mall, even thinner. Looking just like skin and bones. While his wife had grown even larger, almost like a walking mound of flesh. They were shopping, with Sam carrying loads of heavy bags. Heading only to stores with women's items. Sam, now a bag carrier and wallet, had a pale face, with no trace of his former self or even the man from 6 months ago. It seemed his call to the other world might be close. Looking so diminished. But, having chosen this path himself, I felt no pity. Only a sense of serves him right, laughing at the fate of the man who left in the worst way. His wife's treatment of Sam seemed to vindicate women everywhere, almost like a superhero. I was smirking at the two of them, but then I heard someone calling me. Turning around, there stood a tall man who looked much younger than his age, a truly handsome figure. He was the director of the beauty clinic. Now married to him, I've said goodbye to poverty and am polishing my beauty even further.